So you guys ask us questions now, or? We'll just keep playing. Make it downtown, shake it up high, ring it like a bell, and plan it out right, land it on time, sing it, mean it will. Lost in a crowd, stuck right out, I left it on a whim. Trace it on a map, play it like a champ, show it, don't tell. Will you surprise me like the moon in the daytime? You move me like a single father, undercover cop in a bank high. Say, try to translate little noises, tip of the tongue. the sunshine. Say, oh, there's no pleasure in distance. We're gonna be honest with you, girl. Gonna be straightforward. There's no tender insistence. We're gonna take it easy, honey. We're gonna take it so slow.
Yes. What was what? Oh, that was it's an analog delay, just cranked like the feedback, the level, the delay time, and just kind of slowing it down, like picking a chord in the key or some notes in the key, and then letting them kind of dance a little bit, and then slowing it down, just speeding it up, slowing it down. Yep, it's an analog delay, so it takes an actual copy and manipulates the speed of that copy, as opposed to like a digital delay can, well, I don't really know the science behind it, so I'm not gonna go on.
Hey, Craig, will you kind of go around the group and give a little history, like personally as well, and then tie it all together with how you got all together? I know Chris gave a good foundation, but
Yeah, well, so we all lived in pretty much the same suburb of Minneapolis, Sapo Valley, and we are all kind of in various groups in high school. The three of us are in the same grade. Ryan's a little older, and these two guys played in a band together in high school. I played in a different band. Ryan played in a different band, but we all kind of knew each other and had a lot of respect for each other. And then we graduated, and I went to Chicago to study composition. Casey eventually ended up there too, and we started playing together. Then we both dropped out of school, or of that college rather. I moved back to Minneapolis. He moved to Washington State, and then a year after that, after 100 phone conversations about it, he came back to Minneapolis, and the three of us started a group together. And then that group disbanded, as many do. And then we were looking to record some of the stuff that we had carried over from that group, and had written a bunch of new stuff, and called up Ryan, who sort of got involved in that other band as it was dismantling, and then the four of us got together and put this group of people in.
With like 3 or 4 other members at one point in the band too.
Yes, yes, there were.
We settled on these guys.
I don't know where that voice is coming from.
Just your head. I'm in your dome.
I didn't recognize you.
We usually don't give him a microphone. But
This is awesome. Well, I kind of mentioned we had more players in the band, and we were always making the record in this band first before we really figured out how to play it live. So we just had all these ideas, and we just figured, at one point we had 5 members. Actually, at one point we had 6. Yeah, like probably too many people to fit on stage, but we figured we could kind of record anything we want and reproduce it in the live setting. And then it kind of turned out that, this was the core. This is who was always writing the songs and everything, and this ended up being the band. So we had to kind of scramble, and we kind of replaced bodies with technology. So we've got like a lot of samplers all around the stage, as you can see, and having an engineering background, it was kind of easy for me to like bring some of the record and kind of reproduce it into backing tracks and stuff. And then of course the challenge is, not trying to like be rigid with that stuff and actually like, you know, play as a band on stage too. So that was something we've kind of been refining. So I don't know if that answers your question, but.
I would say trying to work with pre-recorded material. The challenge is, of course, how to get it into the song when you're people playing and you can change tempos, like, you know, you can do human things like that, and trying to figure out how best to incorporate this stuff and still make it like human feeling, you know, because computers can be so harsh and digital and perfect, and sometimes that's the challenge, or at least that I find, you know,
Yes.
trying to, like, you know, if you can't necessarily like extend a part or like jam, if you will, when you've got stuff, you have to sort of follow some guidelines, but we also can do whatever we want. Like, you know, Casey and I do a lot of writing in computers, and sort of just whatever's in our head, that's what we go for, which I love. And then trying to recreate that on the stage is a challenge, but it's worth trying.
How does technology affect the writing process, Greg?
Yes.
That's what he said.
I was just gonna say, like in our older project, it was more we would get together at a practice space and just kind of write together. Someone would come in with like chords or a guitar part. It was a lot more about writing parts, really bare bone style. And this is a lot more like kind of solo and then collaborative, and it's a lot more, I don't know, really inside your head, sometimes overproduce the shit out of something, and we have to like take it back.
Yeah, I would say when I first started trying to write songs, it was always like with an acoustic guitar or with a piano, and it was always that I wanted. It was like, this is the structure, but I want this kind of stuff, and I could never really dictate what I was imagining, and it was never about like a piano song necessarily, or like a song with a, you know, acoustic guitar and strumming. I love that stuff. It was never the way I wanted things to sound. So the computer is awesome because you can, you know, get your bones down, and then you can take it away and you can layer it, and you can make it, you can manipulate it, and you can give somebody a more detailed idea of what you think you want the song to sound like, or at least the style of it. It offers just good ideas, I think.
I'll say when they brought songs to me initially, before I was in the band, they had them very well mapped out in Logic. That's what they were recording on. And having some of like the later, like the kind of candy parts, if you will, already in the demos really kind of helped me understand where the songs were going. So I kind of appreciate that we can do that, and we can send stuff digitally back and forth, and it just kind of really helps us get on the same page.
And as a side note, the more you can do in your computer and sort of record at home, the less you'll have to spend in a studio paying somebody else to do it. So it's worth getting into it.
All right, this song's called Build the Hype. It's from the first batch of songs we kind of wrote together. It's on a EP. We just didn't do anything with forever, so we just did the normal thing and threw it online for free, and we never saw it again.
Oh yeah, you can listen to all of our stuff online at our Bandcamp page, I believe. If you just type in demographicsmusic.com, it'll bring you somewhere. Thank you.
We will never stop having noise issues. That's kind of a, yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, let's do that.
I'm not trying to act exclusive, got a lot on my mind lately, and I don't know what to do with it. So just give me a kiss, 'cause I don't wanna talk about took a scotch on the rock sunset, so seems to get over it. Slept for a week, no phone, no love, trying to quit. Well, I don't even notice when it's ours anymore. Well, I don't care to show it when it's on earth don't glow. I'm not trying to act elusive, got a lot on my mind lately, I don't know what to do with it. So just give me a kiss, 'cause I don't wanna talk about it. Glass of ice, midnight poolside, tell me to quit. Didn't sleep for a week, shook hands, got proof of it. I don't even notice when sleep slow. I don't even notice when glitters go. Until the sun shines into my eyes, drips into my throat, challenges my veins, wraps around my bones, slips through my heart, cuts into my lungs, claps into my hand, butts under my tongue, buzzes through my toes, sweats over my skin. But if there's no warmth, though, I don't want to talk about it. Thank you.
That's a track that we have kind of playing throughout, which is sort of what I was alluding to earlier when I was talking about how, like, you know, timing and playing along to something that's like underneath you, sort of, and like little things will pop up and then there won't be anything, and which is why Ryan's got headphones on. He can kind of gauge the song.
Yeah, I'm listening to a click track in these headphones, if anybody was wondering.
Yeah, but I mean, we recorded everything, like, you know, we basically took it right out of the record that we recorded for that song. So Yeah, it's funny. I think sometimes like I wonder if like we are like we have the illusion of like people have those harmonizers and stuff and vocal effects pedals, and I wonder if it comes across as because I sing along to it for that effect, maybe to trick you.
I'll be honest, at first, when we started doing this and I got the click track, I really hated it, and I felt like, it was completely robotic and rigid, but actually I really kind of like it now, because I can't be wrong for tempo, and once you kind of relax and just let it get in the back of your head and not in the front or whatever, it kind of helps you just start looking up, and you can look at your bandmates, and things can actually be spontaneous again. So it just takes a little bit of getting used to, I think.
I don't know. That's an ongoing struggle. Yeah. How would you classify your music? Which I try not to do, I guess. If I had to. I would probably do some kind of run-on sentence, thinking of different parts of different songs. Electronic, groovy, reverb-soaked. I don't know. Do we have any artists that influence the sound of our band? Yeah, I would. Tons of them.
Literally thousands.
I guess I could start naming a bunch of people. I went through a pretty solid phase of obsessively listening to Beach House. So anybody who knows me is probably annoyed with that comment at this point. So that's a huge one for me. I don't know, guys. You want to start dropping lines?
I kind of like a lot of electronic things like Aphex Twin, or I like Bjork a lot. I don't know. I like it. I like music that fits within the realm of pop music a lot. I mean, actually, that's if I were to if I had to describe us in one word, I would say we're a pop band, because I think our songs have structures, and there's always some kind of hook, hopefully, and we try to wrap the songs up before they overstay their welcome. So I'd say it's essentially pop music, but we like a lot of texture, and we listen to everything. So
I usually call it late night music.
yeah.
This is the first time we've played this early. It's really strange. Usually just getting out of bed. No, thank you. Gives me a reason to get up.
I wonder if we play better at this hour of the day. That's a thought. I really like Radiohead a lot too. I think that's been a pretty steady, heavy influence on me.
Does anyone in this room like Radiohead?
Or rather, does anybody? No, never mind. I won't go there.
Have you guys heard of Radiohead?
Some the last two songs were part of an EP, like I was talking about, that we recorded in our bedroom, essentially. At first, probably 2 winters ago, or almost 2.5 years ago, I guess.
I think some of this stuff even came about. I was living in this apartment when I graduated from here, so that was December 2009 when some of this stuff first started coming around.
Yeah, it took us a while to get to where we are now,
Yeah.
for sure. Then we recorded our newest full-length album last June, so over a year ago. Released it this June, and yeah.
Chris was asking why Minneapolis is a good place to play music.
I don't know. I don't really talk much in the band, but
This is the first time we've heard Mike talk all day.
I've never had a microphone before. I think it's good. It's easy to meet people. I mean, obviously we all knew each other, but you meet someone like Ryan, who's doing the sound for us today, and we see him every other weekend somewhere playing or whatever. All of us are in also different bands with other people, so you just branch out so easily. The downfall is you don't ever want to leave because it's so comfortable, and it's well, if you go to a bigger city, it's going to be harder to start over. But
I would say for the size of the city, we have like a really, really lush musical scene with a lot of different stuff going on, and a lot of awesome pockets of like, I don't know if I want to say genre, but like groups of people who are doing stuff, and it's all really good. And there's tons of opportunities to play places, and tons of people who are going out all the time to see things. And because it isn't, you know, one of those top tier cities in population, it's easier to get a little bit of exposure, I think. I mean, for better or worse, I guess it's, you know, you can get some people to show up and talk about it, and I don't know, I'm rambling now, but yeah.
I know Chris wasn't asking us to give any advice or whatever, but I will say go out and meet everybody. It's really, like he said, it's really easy to do here, and they're incredible musicians, and they know incredible musicians, and you might be an incredible musician, but you know, it's never hurts to know another person, you know. So.
We obviously haven't branched out at all.
I have found my feeling here, I think of Amsterdam a lot too, about Minneapolis, St. Paul, because there's just kind of a quiet, tolerance is not the right word, but oh, that's okay, kind of an appreciation, a respect. I mean, look at our political scene from Michelle Bachmann and Jesse Ventura and Keith Ellison and the wide spectrum. So I think a lot of the mindset comes from a wide cultural foundation, and so people are kind of like, oh, that's cool. So it allows a lot of different things to exist and be nurtured because they're all being appreciated. Would you agree?
I would agree, yeah. I would say there are ways that that could be perceived as being bad. Like maybe there's a lack of criticism sometimes, which can help. It can help to be criticized. But yeah, overall, I absolutely agree with that. There's a lot of warmth.
Monitors in place to give us critiques and help us keep fine-tuning what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Let's do another song.
All right.
Thank you.
That's my favorite. That is so my favorite. That was a cool tune. I need it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody have a last question or two? And then we have time for one last song after that.
What's the name of that song?
Don't you want to?
Yeah, like the nightmare situation is like obviously something doesn't work and you hope it's not like something that's really important. And we have a couple backup measures, but it pretty much has to work for it to work. So,
It was a really hard night when Ryan forgot his headphones.
yeah, like I mean, if you play in other bands like I do, and it's nothing like this, sometimes you forget to bring your headphones and then you have to scramble and see if somebody brought their iPod, like earbuds or something. And
Yeah, the downside, I mean, especially when you're playing, at night, if you've had a little bit to drink or you're playing, it's really dark somewhere, like there are a lot of cords and cables and yeah, you get used to losing about one thing per show. And just hopefully you found that out before you go to the next show.
it is a lot much simpler of a setup. I mean, it is pretty, like there's a lot going on, but it used to be a lot crazier, so.
It seems pretty manageable.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
It's getting there.
Here and how you're interlacing your weaving everything together.
What's having a stage like this, which we usually don't, it's much easier to set up everything. But if you're cramped on like a tiny stage, then it becomes a lot more difficult.
Yeah, I find I have actually less issues with like the computer and stuff than I have with my guitar and my pedals or my amp. Like something burns out or is broken. Like every time I plug it in, I feel like it's a battle. I have to battle with my guitar.
It's hard because then you just can't do what you're going to do.
Yeah, and then every day there's another like, oh, now I have to go pay somebody $80 to resolder this input.
I was just going to say, I have a soldering iron. I'm pretty good.
Yeah?
Sweet.
Can you fix a delay pedal? All right.
I feel like music really creates a very definite sort of atmosphere. So are there like particular types of venues that you play at most of the time, or like are there certain, types that want you there more so?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. We'll try to take anything. Obviously, you don't want to turn anything down, and you want to play out a lot. But yeah, we've definitely swayed towards like we've played the Kitty Cat a bunch. That's a really nice place we found for our sound. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kitty Cat has a great vibe for the stuff that we're doing. Like, yeah, we feel the same way about like the atmospheric quality and having a space to represent that too, or like at least lend to it. And there's a couple of new places around that do the same kind of thing. It's harder for us, I think, or it would feel weirder for me to play like in the middle of the day outside, because it just wouldn't like. I mean, I'd be okay with it. I would do it, but it just would feel strange, I think.
I'd say more so than venue, there's a lot about the sound guy, so yeah, like Ryan Alcott from Mystery Palace and whatnot, he does the sound at Kitty Cat, and he's like spot on every time. It's really, really nice to have a guy who cares or knows what you're trying to go for, who's heard you before or something like that.
Right, and Ryan is a friend of ours and has heard us and knows what he's doing as well. He takes liberties, I imagine. I don't know what you guys are hearing, but it sounds amazing up here. And
Thank you. Thanks, Ryan McNally.
You saying that Ice House is great sound going on.
Sounds really natural in that room.
One more tune?
Yeah, sweet.
Say a big thank you to Chris Cunningham and Devin Brass.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah,
Thank you guys
so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Who asked the question about technology failing? Raise your hand. Thanks for jinxing it, dude.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. You're welcome.
No.
There were like three different ways that technology failed, but we made it through, right?
So basically, when that happens, I go home and I try to like simplify it. I will probably take everything from this song and resample it so I don't have to hit as many things. So it's a refinement process. Thank you.